All right, we're back up on the mountain today. We're going to do something a little different, going for a hike. So we're going to a place marked on my map as mine number 7. It's an old Cherokee crystal mine, I think. It could be for mica, could be for gold. I don't really know. It's marked on the old U.S. forestry maps as a mine location. So I went ahead and put it into my GPS, and we're going to go hike to it. Now it is a Wednesday, so it's pretty quiet out here on the trail so far. We're actually at the Wallace Branch. I don't know. The Wallace Branch trail access to the Bartram Trail. And the Bartram Trail is a connector trail that goes up to the Appalachian Trail. And we're going to stay on this for quite a ways, probably 3 miles or so, to a place I call Rita's Stairs. Why do we call it that? We don't know that either. Super pretty out here in the woods today. I wanted to get this hike done before the rain starts this week. All this red clay gets super slippery when it's wet. This is the first feature on this trail. Once you leave the Wallace Branch parking lot, it's a little waterfall. We come here quite often. Sometimes we hike up this way, but that's not where mine 7 is. So we're going this way. So the forest we're hiking in is called the Nantahala Forest. I don't really know what Nantahala means, but I think it's something like noonday sun, because a lot of the valleys are so deep. The sun only kind of reaches the valleys in the middle of the day. So yeah, that's what I think that's what I think it means. So the first part of this hike, we're gaining elevation pretty quick. So if you hear me breathing hard, that's the reason, because I'm getting tired already. All right, we're about a half mile in on the trail. I'm going to go ahead and pull up the GPS and show you guys where we're going and where we've been. So we started at the trailhead about a half mile behind us at Wallace Branch, and we are on the Bartram Trail. We're currently at a place I call the Fork in the Road. And it's just where 2 different trailheads come together. And we're kind of on our way to a place called Rita's Steps, which is up ahead, maybe 3-4 miles up. And it's not a straight line, and it's not flat, so it's a lot of work to get there. And we call it Rita's Steps because a friend of ours, Rita, came with us one day, and she made it to that far and said, that's good enough, let's go back. So yeah, that's where we're going first. And then we're going to go off the trail, heading over to this mark I have labeled Mine 7. Now, it's about another mile past Rita's Steps, out in the wilderness with no trail. So that should be fun. Now, the Bartram Trail uses a yellow marker as the trail marker. As we get closer to the Appalachian Trail, the trail markers are going to turn yellow and white, which means that we're on 2 different trails. But for now, all we have to do is follow the yellow markers. The area we're walking now is a predominantly hardwood forest. It has been forested in the past. So most of the trees are probably, I don't know, less than 40 years old. But as we go on, the terrain will change quite a bit. Man, it's nice out here though. Birds are chirping. Sun is shining. And everywhere it's just waterfalls. That's all you hear. We're now moving into a shadier sloped area. A lot more pine trees. A lot more mountain laurel. It's really enjoyable when you have a change of scenery like this. 1 minute it's all sunshine and butterflies, and now you just know there's a bear around any one of these corners that's going to want to come up and lick on you. No, we're not really too worried about bear. This trail gets walked on quite a bit, and I always feel pretty safe out here. Now we're climbing up another hill, and it's a little more sunny on this side, so we're back to hardwood forest. Oh, elevation is going up. So we start at about 2,600 feet, back where we parked the mini truck. And this trail is going to go up to about 4,800 feet. So we're going about a half mile straight up. That sounds like fun. So we made it to the top of one of these ridges, and I want to show you something. So if we look down this side, it's pretty much all pine forest, all the way down the hill as far as you can see. This is the top of the ridge we were just walking on, and there's mountain laurels here on the top and some pine trees. But as soon as you get over here in the sunshine, going down into this valley, it's all hardwood trees. We have a nice black locust right here. Looks like an oak tree, a maple. And yeah, it's just amazing how quick things change. I don't know about you, but I think it's pretty exciting. So right now we're pretty much just trekking right along the top of a ridge. Pretty much it's a mountain laurel forest. That's a mountain laurel flower. Yeah, I know, it's not too exciting. So most of the walking on the trail is pretty nice. You can see it's all flat and stuff here. Occasionally you get some roots around, then you get some more roots. And a lot of this is washed out from the rainstorms. And you do have to be a little bit careful. We're pretty far away from any type of help. And if we did fall and hurt ourselves, we might have to make a splint or something, or a walking cane to get back out of here. Last time I was here, this big tree wasn't laying down. It looks like the rain probably softened up the root ball and it just fell over. Brings up the age-old question, if a tree falls in the forest and no one's around to get hit, did it really fall? I don't know. We have an airplane flying over. I hope Mrs. P didn't send out a search party for me. That would be bad. All right, we've been hiking for a couple hours. I think I see Rita's steps in front. We'll have to stop and reevaluate the GPS at that point. One of the best parts of walking out here in the woods is you have plenty of time to reflect on things. You know, you try to compartmentalize everything that you've ever done in your life. And sometimes you'll just get a song in your head that won't go away. Looks like we made it to Rita's steps. All right, well that was the easy part. Let's consult the GPS, see how we're doing. All right, the GPS confirms we are at Rita's steps. Now we need to head that way, pretty much straight uphill for about 600 feet or so. And that puts us about halfway to mine number 7. Now once we get up that hill, 600 feet or so, then it's pretty flat all the way to mine 7. Let me show you what we're up against. So this is the kind of trail we've been walking on for the last few miles. And now we need to go up that way. Wow, that looks like fun. Now, unfortunately, I didn't wear the right clothes for walking out in the briar patch. We did wear our hiking boots, but we have bare legs and shorts. So we're going to think about this for a few minutes. And we're also going to review all the gear in our pack, just to make sure we're ready for this. All right, first of all, we brought our whistle with a compass attached to it. We brought some empty plastic bags. We have a flashlight in case we get out here after dark. We definitely have our water bottle because you got to have that. On the gold mining side, we have a pick in case we need to break up some crystals. We have a little spade, a gold pan, a classifier, and our mini shovel here, so in case we need to do some digging. We also bring a hunting knife with us in case we have to do some emergency surgery on ourselves. And we bring a 9mm, just because you never know what you're going to run up against out here in the woods. Let's go ahead and get all this gear back in the pack, drink a little bit of water, and head up that hill. All right, so far it's going about like you would expect. I think I found a little bit of a game trail to follow. Oh, goodness. Definitely a lot of briars here, and quite a few clumps of stuff that looks like probably poison ivy. That's pretty awesome. We are getting into snake country too. Got all these rocks with little crevices under them. If I was a snake, that's where I would be. And also all these briar patch things. Man, you push up on one of those, you'll know it. Ow. Not good. All right. This appears to be the most direct path to get to the elevation we need. And sometimes the most direct path is not the best path. I don't know, what is this? What kind of plant is that? We're walking through all kinds of this stuff. Put it in the comments if you think that's poison ivy. It does have 3 leaves. I think 3 leaves is bad. We're just going to keep pushing through. Worst case, we'll get some of that calamine lotion. Ooh, I need a spider stick. There are spider webs everywhere here. We're going to go a little bit further and then consult the map and see if we're getting any closer to that ridge. I think we have to. It's pretty much the only thing up here. This is definitely a game trail. Let me show you. See here, these are footprints that we're following. They're pretty big footprints. They don't look like deer. Could be bear. Could be wild dogs. Oh, I don't know. Could be hillbillies. We don't know. So we're slowly but surely making it up this hill. It is pretty much straight up. We are scraping ourselves up pretty good on briars and things. That's fun. Now, on the map, there appears to be a dotted line up ahead. And usually those dotted lines are either trails or forest roads. So I'm hoping that this is that we're coming up on an old forest road. And maybe it'll make our last little bit a little bit easier. Good Lord, we're straight up. It's to the point now we almost have to lean on trees to get up a little bit higher. I think we're going to go this way. We're going to follow the game trail for a minute. I'm sure we are. Oh my goodness, we got a full-on spider web in our hair. That was gross. So that's back down the way we came. And we got to go up that way. Pretty much that tree right there, I think, is the top of the ridge. So let's see if we can get up there. I don't know if you can tell, but by the angle of this tree to the ground, it's pretty much straight down that way and straight up that way. I'm actually having a very hard time filming this because I need both hands to climb. So I'll see you at the top. Now when you look at the GPS and it says 600 feet, it's more like triple because most of it is straight up. So for every foot you go forward, you go probably two feet up. We don't know, but it sure is getting pretty up here. All right, we're about 100 feet away from the trail. At least it looks like a trail. Could just be like a county line or something, but we don't know. I did find a little game trail here that I've been following. It's not quite going in the right direction, but it's a lot easier than walking straight up that hill. All right, so I've been zigzagging around a little bit. I can't find anything that looks like a road or a trail, but we are on flat ground, which means we're probably 600 feet from the mine, and it's flat, so it should be 600 feet that way. So if anybody's hungry, there's a whole bunch of these little red top mushrooms. I don't know what they are. I wonder if they're good for lunch. Let me know in the comments, because I don't know. All right, so it's pretty flat land up here. We should make pretty good time towards the mine. We're gonna switch back over to GPS mode, see if that helps us at all. Definitely no roads up here. We're still kind of following a little game trail. So I'm guessing the deer come up here and run this ridge. They probably eat those red mushrooms. We don't know. So we're still about 700 feet away from the crystal mine. We're just assuming it's a crystal mine. And the GPS says at our current rate, it's going to take about an hour to get there. I can't believe an hour to go 700 feet. That's crazy. Man, I can see mountaintops all the way around. Just about poked my eye out with a stick. That wouldn't be good. Now, I don't know how accurate my map is for the location of this this mine. So we're just gonna close in on it, circle around, see what we can find. I am seeing some rock. It doesn't quite look like quartz, but I'm also seeing big holes in the ground. And it's right next to a game trail. So I hope that's not like a bear den. Let me know in the comments if that looks like a bear den, because I have no idea. Well, I think this tree has been pecked to death by the woodpeckers. Goes a long way up there. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it could fall at any moment. So I'm so far out in the woods, and I think I just found the biggest tree in the forest. Let me see if I can show you this. So I'm standing back quite a ways, probably about 20 feet, just for scale. I'm going to move forward just a little bit and start looking up this tree. I don't even think my arms are as wide as the base of this tree. And it just goes and goes and goes and goes. How beautiful is that? Let's see if we can show you how big it is. Here I am at the bottom. I'm 6'2". It's got to be like 48 inches around. Wow, that's a big tree. All right, I found my first chunk of quartz in this area. Now this has a lot of mica in it. You can just tell because of the way it is. So mica is this really shiny stuff, but it's real flaky. And it's usually attached to quartz. There's a whole bunch more down here. We're going to keep hiking around this area, see if we can find where this stuff's coming from. And usually wherever you find the quartz, the main deposit is up the hill from that, because everybody digs it up and throws it down the hill. So we're going to head up the hill a little bit, hope for the best. I just came down that hill. So the problem with finding anything in the Appalachian Mountains is these are really old mountains. And like right here, it looks like leaves and poison ivy and moss. But if you pull back the moss, look at that. There's quartz right underneath that thing. So I think we are on top of this old Cherokee mine. We just got to break out our hammer and start looking. I also think this is probably a good time for a water break. So when we're out here hiking and I stop and do some exploration, I always put my pack with the straps up for two reasons. One, so all the sweat has a chance to dry out. And also it helps to keep the bugs out. Yeah. All right, so we got a little chip hammer. We're going to hit some of this quartz See if we can get a fresh piece exposed and see what it looks like. Man, it's just bull quartz. There's nothing in it. There's a lot of mica around the edges. Yeah, just mica inclusions in that thing. But we're gonna get some, we're gonna keep looking at it. Tell you what, I should have brought my safety glasses. When you crack open that quartz, sparks and pieces go everywhere. So here's another really good example of what I'm finding. Cracking this quartz open, lots of mica inclusions. I'm not seeing a lot of yellowish quartz. You see, that's where I pulled that rock out, and there's lots of mica in there. There's another big piece of quartz sticking out here. A lot more mica inclusions, but nothing I want to take home yet. So we're going to keep looking up higher on the hill, see if we can find out where all this quartz came from. All right, we're starting to get closer where they were doing all the digging. You can just see big old flakes of mica. It almost looks like broken glass, but it's not. You can tell it's mica because it's pretty breakable. This piece is pretty big. I can't really break it. Yeah, I'm not as strong as I used to be. But lots of these big shiny mica pieces. And that could be what the Cherokee Indians were looking for making jewelry and stuff. I don't know what else mica would be good for. But if you know, put it in the comments. Let me know. All right, I've been scrounging around here for about an hour or so. I picked up a few bags of crystals that look like they might have some yellow inclusions. I also picked up some big mica chips, because even though they're not valuable, they're kind of pretty if you put them in a bowl or something. So yeah, we're gonna put this in our backpack so we have a heavier pack to carry home. That sounds good. I'm actually amazed how hard this quartz is. It does have mica inclusions. It also has some yellow staining, but I think the yellow staining might just be the red clay around here. There's a big old bee following me around. Must be some ground hornets here somewhere. Let's move away. So we were just digging down this way, and there's a little shelf, almost like it was a road, but I don't think so. I think they've been digging off this hill and throwing it down the hill. Then I'm up on this ridge, and on this side of the valley, or this side of the ridge, there is some quartz popping out occasionally, and there's little holes everywhere. So I'm pretty sure that all down through here is part of this quartz mine, which means that quartz runs right through the top of this ridge and comes out the other side. Now, unfortunately, it's getting kind of late in the day. You can tell because the sun is behind the trees somewhere. So we're going to go ahead and plot on the GPS what's the best way to get home from here and start working that out. All right, looking at the GPS, the most direct route is down that hill. So we're up here on the top of this ridge. The ground falls off probably at a 45-degree slope, and we got to go down there somewhere. It's only about 800 feet to where I think we might have a trail, so not too bad. So I'm hiking back, and I see this sign out in the middle of nowhere. Let me show you. I saw this thing up here, and I thought, well, that's kind of curious. Let's walk up here and see what this is all about. So it says, danger, unsafe mine shaft and high wall, deadly gas, lack of oxygen, unsafe ladders, unstable explosives, deep pool of water, stay out, stay alive. Well, that looks like fun. Let's see if we get close and look at this. Hope there's not a bear in here. All right. So yeah, it's a cave for sure. Man, we would not want to go down there. Probably the correct thing to do is mark this spot on our GPS. Come back another day, a little bit earlier in the day, so we can check this out. So all the land around here looks very unnatural. Like it has all been dug up quite a bit. Let me show you. We just came down this hill. It's pretty much straight down. Kind of in a valley with a whole bunch of quartz, piles of quartz, And this quartz is pretty much aged. It's been here for a long, long time. And there's a little valley going down this way. There's a hill with a bunch of quartz on it. It's actually a bunch of old metal stuff. So yeah, I hope I'm not like on top of a mine shaft. Big old exposed quartz vein here. With more metal. Obviously picking up metal out in the woods is not a good idea. So this is definitely a different mining location. But we got to work towards getting home. So we're kind of getting down to the bottom of the valley below where that mine shaft was. And we saw a bunch of debris at the top. Well, let me show you what we got down here. Down here, it's pretty much littered with quartz everywhere. And all these big rocks look like they probably came out of that mine shaft at the top. But that's some big material to be chucking out of a mine shaft. I mean, you'd have to have real equipment to move some of these boulders. Now, most of it just looks like bull quartz for the most part. Let's get around this tree without hurting ourselves. And you just got bigger quartz boulders down here. Like, what were they thinking? So I'm almost thinking that these were not coming out of a mine shaft. I think these probably broke off of a piece of quartz sticking out of the mountain. And they tumbled down this hill. And that's how the Cherokee probably found this mine in the first place. So yeah, we're just going to keep heading down the river. And in fact, look at this. Here's a little stream underneath the quartz section. So if there's any gold around, I bet this stream bed is where it would be. We know where the quartz came from. Yeah, we're going to mark this on the GPS also. We're going to come back here and do some panning because there's got to be some stuff around here. Now I'm walking along in a sunny spot and there's these little bushes with like 1,000 thorns on them. Those are not any fun when they rub against your leg. We're still following a game trail next to the creek here. I'm hoping it's going to open up into something more walkable soon. We're only making about 500 feet every 15 minutes or so. And yeah. Also, I don't want to run out of water. Wow, look at this tree. There's this big old tree growing over the trail. Big old rocks coming out underneath it. They don't look like quartz rocks. They just look like the regular variety rocks. So I'm following this game trail. And I think we just ran into a mountain stream. It's all muddy right here. Oh, goodness. Oh, I'm sinking. Oh. Yeah, let me show you what we got. So the spring's coming right out of the face of this wall. It's not very high, just high enough. Man, all this mud. Oh, good Lord. I'm sinking again. Oh my God, higher ground. Oh, I do not need wet boots hiking. All right, we're gonna go back to check the GPS. Make sure we're going the right direction. So ever since we left that cave site, I've been carrying my rock chisel in my hand, mostly for a weapon, but also occasionally we come across a piece of quartz like this. And you got to bang on it. All of a sudden we're walking into a pine forest. That's kind of different. Still a few hardwoods mixed in, but overall it's a different feel than we've been walking in for the last hour. Still following this game trail, and it also looks like maybe a little bit of a water washout here. Looks like all the leaves are displaced. Still a lot of quartz around. All right, the trail's opened up into a nice meadowy looking thing. I don't know, maybe this was an old logging road at some point. kind of strange that nothing has grown back. So maybe it's not that old. We don't know, but it's easier walking here. We'll follow this for a little ways. It's going in the right direction. All right, we've been walking for quite a while. I'm pretty much convinced we're on an old forest road. I think it's going to probably intersect the Bartram trail up here eventually. It's not really going in the correct direction anymore. However, it's better than walking out through that stuff. So with any luck, it's going to loop around to where we want it to be, or we'll just hike a little bit further. We don't know. I do know, turning into a sweaty mess out here, it might be time for a water break. I can tell we're not the only ones out here. Got a little deer that's been out here recently. He was walking along this way. Looks like he stopped and probably took a crap or ate something. That's what deers do. Also, while we're walking along out here in these creek beds and stuff, I always try to keep an eye out for anything that doesn't look quite right. This was Cherokee Indian country for a long time, like thousands of years. And there should be lots of arrowheads and stuff around here. This was, well, where they lived. So, yeah, got to keep eyes out for that kind of stuff. So I'm trying to walk quite a ways away from this little stream that's running down here. It's looks like it has a whole bunch of underground springs popping up, and it's really muddy. The last time I stepped in it, I went up about to my knee. That's not any fun. So I can tell we're getting down to lower elevations. All the little mountain springs are combining into a little creek or river, and you start hearing waterfalls off in the distance. So I think we're going in the right direction. This is kind of what we're walking through. Mostly little pine trees and poplar trees and poison ivy, you know, the usual. All right, we're definitely on a forest road now. It even looks like it may have been driven on in the past 100 years. Luckily, the tracks here are narrow enough we can walk on them. Look, we probably have a bear was here. It's kind of cool. He doesn't look that big. It's one of the small bear varieties. Probably a black bear. He did walk through this mud puddle. Came up this way somewhere. I'm sure he's up ahead somewhere. We'll find him soon. All right, we've been following this forest road for about a half hour or so. And luckily, we're at a spot here that it crosses the Bartram trail. That's a good sign. Now we just need to decide, do we go that way on the Bartram trail or that way? We're going to break out our GPS and check it out. I'm pretty sure it's that way, but I don't know. All right, the GPS confirms we need to go this way back behind me. So I'm just going to film for a while and you guys can enjoy a walk on the Bartram trail.
The sun bright, a golden gleam, through the emerald leaves awaken dream. He walks with a steady stride, deep in the forest, nowhere to hide. From the whispers of history, the call of the wild, a treasure hunt, nature's own child. Oh, the woods are alive on this perfect day. Cherokee echoes leading the way. Artifacts hidden, stories untold. More precious than silver, more precious than gold. He walks on with a heart full of glee, lost in the wonder, wild and free. A cool stream flows, a gentle sound, ancient spirits on hallowed ground. Searches with care, every rock, every root, for arrowhead, sharp or other loot. Imagining life silver, more precious than gold. He walks on with a heart full of glee, lost in the wonder, wild and free. He stops for a moment beneath an old tree, a canteen of water just for him to see, reflecting on journeys, the paths he has tried, every challenge a lesson, a gift from his God. The laughter, the tears, the lessons he's learned, a life rich with moments beautifully earned. Oh, the woods are alive on this perfect day, the Cherokee echoes leading the way, artifacts hidden, stories untold, more precious than silver, more precious than gold. He walks on with a heart full of glee, lost in the wonder, wild and free. With a smile and a sigh, he rises anew. The next great adventure waiting for you. He walks on, onward he'll roam. The world is his treasure, and the forest his home.
And just like that, we're back at the Wallace Branch trailhead of the Bartram Trail. We had a great day rock hounding today. Found a lot of mica, a little bit of quartz, probably some gold. But yeah, you guys get outside, do something fun. Come back and tell me about it.